Hey there, Casey. Hey there, youngsters in Casey's class. My name's Josh Geiger. I live in Brevard, North Carolina, up here in the Appalachian Mountains. We live in a temperate rainforest, meaning that it rains enough to be a rainforest, and temperate means it still freezes in the winter. I have a mushroom business called Mountain Folk Mushrooms, where we grow a variety of medicinal and culinary mushrooms. And today I'd like to share some cool facts about fungi and how they can help save the world. Right off the bat, I'd like to define the word mycelium because I'm going to use that word a lot of times in this presentation. Mycelium is the root structure of fungi, whereas the mushroom is the fruit of the fungi. So the mushroom is more like the apple is to a tree, whereas the mycelium is like the roots to the tree. So, 5 cool fungi facts. Fungi spores can survive the vacuum of space. That means that they can leave our atmosphere and travel to another planet, and they can actually successfully germinate once the conditions are right, meaning that the light, the air, and the water, and something to eat is right. Second cool fact, the largest organism in the world is a 2,400-acre continuous mycelial mat of honey mushrooms in Oregon. Number 3, mycelial strands can hold 30,000 times their mass. That's stronger than steel, that's stronger than spider webs, it's stronger than me. I can probably hold 2, maybe 3 times my weight. Another fact, humans are more closely related to fungi than we are to plants, sharing 40% of the same DNA. We also both respire oxygen and exhale CO2, whereas plants inhale CO2 and exhale oxygen. You can kind of see how the mycelium and plants have a huge part in balancing our biosphere. Okay, the last cool fact is mycelium is everywhere. A single cubic inch of topsoil contains enough mycelium to stretch 8 miles end to end. Okay, now let's talk about some cool ways that mushrooms can help save the world. Mushrooms have been extremely successful at treating many diseases, including cancer, autoimmune disease, depression, anxiety, and bacterial and viral infections. Certain mushrooms have been so successful in helping with cancer treatments that insurance agencies in Japan require you to take these specific mushroom medicines in conjunction with chemotherapy due to their extreme efficacy. Okay, another way they can help save the world is through mycoremediation. That's through helping clean up pollution, through helping clean up radiation, etc. So one way that mycoremediation occurs is through sewage cleanup. There's a mushroom called King Stropharia mushroom that when you take coffee bags filled with mulch and then myceliated with Stropharia mycelium, you can place them in sewage polluted streams such as dairy runoff or broken sewage treatment places in third world countries. The sewage filled water running through that will actually be cleaned up to 99% efficacy using what are these things that are called mycogabions. And this is super important for people who don't have access to clean drinking water, and also it's not good to send gross water into lakes and streams and stuff like that because it causes algae growth and then fish die and terrible. Another one is that there's certain kinds of oyster mushrooms that have been trained to break down petroleum and plastics. Yeah, it's true. They can actually break down diesel, crude oil, like I said, plastics, meaning we could take all the plastic in the ocean, which is a ton, and put it into a landfill, put oyster mushrooms on top of this, and that all be broken down into CO2, water, and oyster mushrooms. And another type of mycoremediation is, as I mentioned, radiation cleanup. Certain types of mushrooms are able to what's called bioaccumulate radioactive isotopes and have been observed to do that very effectively in places such as Chernobyl at that nuclear meltdown. Another way mushrooms can help save the world is through creating a type of sustainable building materials, reducing our dependence on wood and other unsustainable building materials such as concrete. Remember how we mentioned that mushrooms can hold up to 30,000 times their own weight? Well, that's really strong. You can take that, you can myceliate different kinds of wood fiber, and then they dry it and compress these blocks of wood fiber, myceliated wood fiber, and make very strong, weather resistant, rot resistant, breathable, amazing building materials. Okay, another way mushrooms can help save the world is through building soil through rapid composting. There's a current crisis with billions of inches of topsoil running off into the creeks and into the streams and into the Gulf and into the ocean every year due to poor farming practices, and namely through animal food production being one primary way. They can also, the last way I'll mention that mushrooms can help save the world is through rehabilitating damaged forests through symbiotic mycorrhizal relationships. Mycorrhizal means root fungi symbiosis, meaning that the certain types of fungi will bring nutrients and water to certain plants in exchange for the plant giving the fungi carbohydrates that they've synthesized from sunlight. So mycorrhizal relationships are essential in healthy forest systems. So that's all I'm going to share today on how mushrooms can help save the world, but there's so much information on this. It's a huge topic, and I hope you find this inspiring. If you want to get any more information or you find yourself interested, I highly recommend this book, or at least this author, Paul Stamets, Mycelium Running. If you have any questions, definitely ask Casey, and Casey, get in touch with me for sure. Okay, everybody be well.